familiar with those roars because Jack and I went head-to-head in the PGA in '83, and I let those roars get to me then.
I'm not going to be out there forever. I'm going to be out there forever. But I also, while I can be out there, and while I can compete, and while I can contribute to be part of the game of golf, I want to.
I've never been a great Jack Nicklaus fan. Now, you're going to take that wrong, I'm sure.
I'm going to show you a drill that's going to enable you to gain maximum power and achieve maximum distance.
All this and more on Inside the PGA Tour. Brought to you by exceptionally smooth Michelob. Where you're going, it's Michelob. By Buick. For a real commitment to quality, it's today's Buick. And by Smith Barney. They make money the old-fashioned way. They earn it. We asked PGA Tour pros and golf fans who they admired most.
Well, I respect anybody who really works hard, and you see them constantly working hard in their game. And well, the first person I think about is who I see working very hard, even though he's had great success last few years, Bernhard Langer.
I like every player.
Arnold Palmer, without a doubt.
I'd have to say Fuzzy. Really. Why? I think he's the closest thing to Arnold Palmer. And when I was growing up, Arnold Palmer was the man.
I like Fuzzy Zoller. Okay, he's classy.
I really like Ray Floyd because of his professionalism on the golf course. I like the aggressiveness of his Seve.
Seve Ballesteros. Why? He's good looking.
We've been real fortunate in our sport that our great players have been really truly fine people. You know, going back to Byron Nelson and the Nicklauses and Palmers and Watsons, you know, guys have really been good for our game.
Jack Nicklaus, he's done so much for the game.
I have great respect for the discipline and the talent that Jack Nicklaus has had through the years.
We've always had great players in the game, but I don't think any have compared to Jack Nicklaus in the modern era.
Jack Nicklaus. Why? He just has it. He just has it.
Coming at you from Congressional Country Club, the Kemper Open. Be there for the great shots, the big hitters,
crowd pleasers,
fabulous birdies, and horrifying bogeys,
spectacular putting,
and championship play.
plenty of tension, the joy of winning, and a great feel.
Be seeing you at the Kemper Open.
See it live May 31st and June 1st.
The first $2 million winner in LPGA history, Pat Bradley joins golf's leading ladies at the LPGA Championship Friday on ESPN. See the most competitive field in the tournament's history, the LPGA Championship, following live French Open tennis Friday on ESPN. Jack's back and ESPN's got him. Live at the U.S. Open starting Thursday, June 12th at noon Eastern. Don't miss a moment.
Betty Dorfman before the Nikon One Touch. Betty after the Nikon One Touch. The Parfit family before the Nikon One Touch. The Parfit family after. Mr. Dennis Pinkstaff before. Mr. Pinkstaff after.
This is great.
The new autofocus autoflash Nikon One Touch. It's so easy to use, it's given thousands of people something they've always wanted.
Oh, the baby's a week old. Got any pictures?
Pictures they can be proud of.
John Houseman for the investment firm of Smith Barney.
The New York Stock Exchange. Trading is over. Some tally their profits, some lick their wounds. And some still look for the ultimate financial formula. For over 100 years, Smith Barney has used only one investment formula. Good old-fashioned hard work. Smith Barney. They make money the old-fashioned way. They earn it.
You got to go with Nicklaus. He's done everything to do. He's a great man, great family man, great golfer, great person.
And there is no question in my mind that Jack Nicklaus is the greatest golfer that's ever strapped on a pair of cleats. That no one will ever compare to him. None. Never.
The Masters, 1986. Jack does it again. His 20th major professional title.
To win the Masters at age 46, on what I call a young man's golf course, to beat the best players that are in the game today, and they were all right there, to do it in the way that I did it, to do it where I was probably had as much composure and collected myself better than I'd ever have in my life. It's something I'm, pretty proud of.
It was a moment of pride and history that the entire sports world shared with Jack, especially his colleagues.
Sunday, I was in the group right in front of Jack Nicklaus. With what all was going on, especially on the back nine when Jack was making a lot of birdies, it was a little bit annoying for us trying to play right in front of him in that, the crowds were yelling and screaming every time he made a putt or hit a good shot. In retrospect, looking back at it, it was really very neat to be that close to something, that awesome happening, that type of history being made.
I've got so many friends that have told me he's over the hill and that he's seen better days and that he should just quit playing golf. He's taking up a spot, and I said, all these guys said, gosh, you're crazy. This guy is great. What a short memory these people have. It just raised goosebumps on me when I heard that Nicklaus won the tournament.
Anytime that someone of his stature plays that well and does it with his son caddying for him, I think that really shows how much, you might say, feeling there is between he and his family.
It gave me an awful neat feeling to think that, here he was, he's won 19 major championships, had a great career, and here he was, busting his rear end to win another golf tournament, and all that he had done in the past didn't make any difference. Is this one what he's trying to do? And, it's neat to see the people appreciated what he had done, and they were supporting him as to what he was doing right then. So it was neat. I'll always remember, and I was awful proud of him, I still am.
I think Jack considers himself a husband and father first and a golfer second. And he's made a big point in his entire pro career never to be gone from the children longer than 2 weeks at a time. And he kind of made the statement once. He said, I refuse to let my children go away to college and say, gee, I wish I'd known my dad. And believe me, they'll never be able to say that because he's been a great father.
But playing the game isn't the only thing that takes Jack away from his family. He began his architectural career in 1968 as consultant to Pete Dye for the famed Harbortown Golf Links. Architect Tom Fazio believes that since, Jack has been a major influence.
When Jack got into the design business and especially built Muirfield Village, here's a golf course that in a short period of time has got worldwide acclaim because of its quality and because of Jack, of course. But Jack has had a great influence on design and quality of golf. And in my opinion, certainly it's from my standpoint because of the design business, but I think that Jack has had a major influence and a major benefit to golf course design.
Jack has made an indelible mark on the world of golf. As architect, as player, his contributions demand attention and respect.
The best explanation that I've heard so far is what my wife Jean said. And she said, I think we're all very fortunate, those that have watched Jack over the years, and those of you that have competed should be very, feel very fortunate. She said every 100 or 1,000 years is a special person that comes around, like a Michelangelo or an Albert Einstein, a person of destiny. And she said, I really think Jack Nicklaus is that type of guy.
But golf's man of destiny is in the 25th year of his career, and even his recent triumph has not quieted the talk of retirement.
I've had people talking about retirement since I was about age 31 or 2. I love competition, and I don't want to retire. I'm not going to be out there forever. I don't want to be out there forever. But I also, while I can be out there, and while I can compete, and while I can contribute to be part of the game of golf, I want to.
Clearwater Nissan has a great deal for you on the #1 selling import truck in America. The all-new and exciting Nissan hardbody truck at only $149 per month. Yes, you heard that right, $149 per month, and not with $1,000 down either, or even $800 or $600, just $499 down and $149 per month at 7.7% interest. 2123 U.S. Highway 19 South, just north of East.
Well, thanks for house sitting for me.
Listen, I found this great place to get movies for your VCR.
I thought I locked the VCR in my bedroom.
No lines, no out-of-stock titles, no late charges.
You went into my bedroom.
And each month they deliver over 65 movies right to your home.
This is unbelievable.
No, this is HBO.
When you're out of sync with our schedule, put us in sync with yours. Set your VCR to HBO. VCR and HBO, it's the perfect combination.
I don't even have HBO.
You do now.
1313 ESPN Dial Sports, the number for the latest scores, stats, and trends, plus ESPN programming information. For just 50 cents a call, you get the country's best scoreboard service, plus our primetime lineup. 900-976-1313. ESPN Dial Sports. Call anytime.
They've had 4 perfect days for scoring, and I'm delighted to see scores like this. I think it's terrific that the guys can shoot scores like that. It just proves that the guys out here can really play golf, and that when they get good conditions, they're going to shoot good scores.
The conditions in Muirfield Village were so perfect, in fact, that 13 golfers broke the previous Memorial Tournament record of 8 under par 280. Without the drying effects of the north wind, the greens were holding, and the Jack Nicklaus design gave in as it never had before. The red numbers piled up all week, but on Saturday, Hal Sutton emerged from the pack with an eagle at 15. 3 straight rounds in the 60s gave him added incentive for Sunday's final round.
I've been hitting the ball well all week long, and that's what I wanted to continue to try to do and play one shot at a time and attack where I could. And if I got reasonable birdie putts, I was trying to make every one of them.
He made 3 of them on the front 9 Sunday, and after a big drive at 10, nipped an 8-iron inside 5 feet. His 5-shot lead seemed to rob the event of any finishing excitement. The kind of excitement Dan Halderson delivered on Saturday with a remarkable eagle from the fairway at 14. Halderson's brilliant play faded, though, and Sunday he slipped from contention. Other contenders like Johnny Miller, John Mahaffey, and Payne Stewart continued to put birdies up on the board, but they simply couldn't keep up with Sutton's torrid pace. One man could and did, however, and it was fitting that the tournament's host provide the fireworks which the final round had been missing. Starting at 8 under for the tournament, even par on the front 9, Jack Nicklaus mounted a back 9 charge that was reminiscent of his incredible performance at the Masters in April.
He's good at that. You look back over the records, and that's what he's really known for. He kind of, through the years, has laid back into the field, and he shot that great 3rd or 4th round that's ended up winning the golf tournament, and he's great at that. You've just got to expect that. If you don't expect that, well, then you'll probably be shocked when he does it, and it'll get to you.
After taking Muirfield by storm with 6 straight birdies, Jack slipped back to mortality with 3 consecutive bogeys. He finished at 11 under par, tied for 5th, but not before giving the home crowd and fans across America another afternoon of golf to remember. It was memorable also for Hal Sutton's refusal to rattle.
I just made up my mind that this week I wanted to answer whatever he dished out. And he dished out a lot, and fortunately I was able to answer it.
Another player who responded to the Nicklaus challenge was Don Pooley. Last year's Barden Trophy winner played sub-70 golf the whole way, and a 5 under back 9 on Sunday enabled him to capture solo second. While Pooley was making a run, Sutton was holding 4 back 9 birdies of his own, the last from the bunker at the par 5 15th. With his 4-shot lead restored, Sutton came to 18 with bigger things in mind.
I was looking through the record book for the Memorial Tournament, and I saw very few people that had shot in the 60s. Down deep inside me, I wanted to try to shoot 4 straight rounds in the 60s here, and I knew that was asking a lot, but was able to do it. And I can tell you right now, you can bet when I hit that shot in the bunker on 18 there, and I certainly didn't want to make a double bogey and foul up and shoot 70 and only shoot 3 rounds in the 60s. I was trying to get the ball up there with a little pitching wedge into the green. Left it in the bunker trying to get it over that lip. Instead, I had a 4-iron out of the bunker left.
Sutton drilled the 4-iron 190 yards to within 25 feet of the pin. Not surprisingly, he was pleased with his play.
This is the best 4 rounds of golf that I put together on a real good golf course. Let's put it that way. And for that reason, it's very gratifying.
Gratifying indeed. With victories at Phoenix and now Memorial, Hal Sutton has joined Calvin Peete, Buzzy Zeller, and Andy Bean as the Tour's 4th two-time winner this year. With his winner's check of $100,000, Hal Sutton moved into 3rd place behind Greg Norman and leader Andy Bean. Of note is Payne Stewart, who is now only $3,500 shy of Craig Stadler's single-season record for money earned without a victory, $297,926. In the last 2.5 years, Stewart has amassed $808,976 without a win. In the Vantage Cup standings, Payne Stewart, with his tie for 7th at Memorial, crept closer to idle leader Bernhard Longer. This week, an MCI long-distance competition updates. Billy Kratzert is currently in the driver's seat. After spending 8 weeks in the 2nd spot, he moved to the top of the standings. Willie Wood is just 12 yards behind in 2nd. And Bob Sway, in his sophomore season, is building his reputation as a long ball hitter. At season's end, MCI will award $30,000 to the driver with the most mileage.
In this competition, the more Pro-Ams you play in, the more opportunity you have to generate more yardage. And I'm going with the Ironman deal and see how many Pro-Ams I can play in.
Just when you need it, Buick has the ideal combination, the financing and the cars that fit your lifestyle. GMAC financing as low as 5.9% on LeSabre or 6.9% on most other Buicks is the lowest in years. Other finance rates available and will be higher as length of contract increases. Great financing available on Somerset, Skylark, Century, Electra, Regal, and Skyhawk. There's new low financing on them all.
Wouldn't you really rather have a Buick?
John Hausman for the investment firm of Smith Barney.
Good investments don't walk up, bite you on the bottom, and say, we're here. Finding them takes good old-fashioned hard work, research, the kind they do at Smith Barney. Smith Barney is among a handful of top investment firms singled out for their work in research. Smith Barney. They make money the old-fashioned way. They earn it.
On tour, they call me Mr. Accuracy. In golf clubs, this is Mr. Accuracy, the Golden Ram Axial. Ram Science has created a perimeter-weighted forged club so you hit winners even if you don't hit it dead center. Has different lies to match your height and stance. To match your swing tempo and strength, it has different flexes and frequency match shafts to accurately match each other. Why do I play Golden Ram? Because in this game, you can never be too accurate.
This week, the commentary. From the rough, editor-in-chief of Golf Illustrated, Al Barkow.
All right, look, I've never been a great Jack Nicklaus fan. Now, you're going to take that wrong, I suppose. I mean, after all, the guy just restored our faith in America in middle age and these huge mallet head putters. But hear me out. Jack is indeed one of the greatest golfers of all time. Personally, I liked more the way Sam Steed hit the ball and looked doing it. Anyway, Jack has been the greatest winner and certainly the greatest finisher of a championship there's ever been. Otherwise, to my taste, Jack has always been too much of a manager, on course and otherwise. He's always seemed so smug in his self-assurance. Now, he earned it, true, but still. Then, at this last Masters, my attitudinal armor vis-a-vis Nicklaus was chinked. In the early rounds at Augusta, he wore the frustration of his diminished putting skills on his sleeve. He cringed, looked worried. It was reassuring to see him suffering like all the rest of us. Was there some pleasure in that for me, too? I suppose. Anyway, The turnaround began when Jack and his son hugged so exuberantly behind the 18th green at Augusta. There have been many stories of how great a father Jack has been, but now here, in living proof of it, in front of millions, I'm a sucker too for familial compassion and emotional sharing. And in the press room afterwards, Jack was so loquacious, talking so openly about the troubles he'd had. You know, he had to be cut off. Well, the whole thing was so human. Oh, he'll probably get a little cocky again, I'm sure, but that's all right. I hope he wins again and gets his businesses going right, and I hope to see him cuddling his grandchildren, giving them lots of hugs and kisses. I think I will. I'm Al Barkow.
The Practice Tee. Brought to you by the investment firm of Smith Barney.
My second year on tour, I made a swing change. It's one that's enabled me to hit the ball further and straighter with less effort. I know it'll do the same for you. The problem I was having is I was taking the club up, and I was allowing the club on the way down to get away from my body, and I was fighting the ball back to impact. I was losing a lot of power and a lot of energy. Now, I take the club up, I allow it to fall right back down that same path or slightly inside, which enables me to reach full extension at impact with total power and total release, which carries me to the finish. Now, here's a trick that will help you do this. You need a friend with a club. This is my friend Scott Ogle. Scott, if you'll hold the club in this fashion here and angle it slightly this way. Now, what we've done here is we've set up a line of flight or a line of extension from the inside to down the line at impact. Now, before, I would not have been able to swing underneath this club. And I would bet you that 90% of the amateurs in the country would also have the same fault I was having. That is, as they take it back, the club moves out over the top, and as they come back, they would hit the club every time. As a result, hitting from the outside in, losing valuable club head speed and distance. With the result of having this club here, it sets up the angle that I need to return the club on. So as I'm taking it up, I'm conscious of knowing that the club must come back underneath this club. As a result, I'm swinging close to my body, able to achieve maximum extension at impact, and as a result, obtain maximum distance. You know, it took me about a half an hour, but I got great results. I think you can do the same. Remember, with the club here, we're trying to return the club from the downswing underneath the shaft. This will achieve maximum power and maximum distance. Ultimately, you should be able to swing underneath this club without it even moving. Just remember, try not to hit his hand and try not to break the shaft.
If you're looking for a good time this summer, you're gonna find it on HBO. The HBO Summer Celebration. Over 65 different movies a month, like Ghostbusters, Mask, Gremlins, A View to a Kill, and Pale Rider. HBO exclusives, too, like the World Heavyweight Series and concerts with Dylan and Liza. So this summer, live it up. Have a couple of friends over and celebrate with...
This is the world's first civilized car commercial, presented by SunWest Auto. No noise, no gimmicks, no gorilla suits, just facts. At SunWest, you can drive a 1986 Audi 4000S with air at no money down, $259 a month. You can drive a 1986 BMW 325 with air at no money down, $299 a month. Now, wasn't that civilized? SunWest, we always earn your trust.
1/2 cup chocolate chips.
1/2 cup honey.
1/4 cup milk.
1/2 cup peanut butter chips.
Introducing the all-new cookies from Almost Home, like peanut butter chocolate chip. They taste so homemade you can almost taste the recipe.
2 eggs lightly folded.
2 eggs whipped.
Lightly folded.
Whipped.
Lightly folded.
Whipped.
Billy Margolis hated to paint. Then he found Easy Roller, the roller that feeds itself automatically. Now Billy paints a room in no time. No messy pans. He just fills the Easy Roller tank once in a while and keeps on rolling. Room after room. It's fast and it's easy.
Hey, Mitch, do you have a room I could paint? Huh?
Easy Roller by Easy Painter. It might make painting fun.
This week, the Tour bids a fond farewell to historic Congressional Country Club as the venue for the Kemper Open. The site of the Kemper Open since 1980, the par 72 course is known for its lengthy contours. Its 7,173 yards plays mostly uphill to sloping greens. In the first Kemper Congressional, John Mahaffey birdied 18 and earned a 3-stroke victory over Craig Stadler. Stadler enjoyed great success in the first 3 years. He ran away with victories in 1981 and 1982. Fred Couples, after shooting a 77 on the final round, won in the famous 5-man playoff of 1983. On the first extra hole, he drilled a 5-iron to 1 foot and captured his first Tour event. In 1984, Australian Greg Norman put the Tour on notice as he won his first in the U.S. Last year, Bill Glasson shot a final round 66 and became the 3rd player in a row to capture his first title at the Kemper. This week is an end of an era, as next year the Kemper Open will be moving across the street to the TPC at Avenel. Adieu, Congressional. This week, the Kemper Open. In the Nabisco Challenge, the Kemper Open team is currently in 19th place, with Greg Norman leading the way. The steady play of Ray Floyd and Jay Haas keeps the Disney team ahead of the Los Angeles Open in the overall team standings. Next week on Inside the PGA Tour.
The caddy is the one guy that needs to be by his side, you know, come hell or high water.
There's a certain zoological aspect to the PGA Tour nowadays. We've got a walrus, a great white shark, a golden bear. Significantly, however, there are no zebras out there. We'll talk about it.
And a recap of the Kemper Open. Next week, look for Inside the PGA Tour on these days. Check your local listings for correct times in your area. Inside the PGA Tour was brought to you by Buick. For a real commitment to quality, it's today's Buick. By Smith Barney. They make money the old-fashioned way. They earn it. And by Ram Golf, the winning force in golf the last 6 years. Inside the PGA Tour was produced by PGA Tour Productions in association with Reed Dolph Incorporated.
June explodes with great sports action on ESPN. There's Grand Slam tennis with live coverage of the prestigious French Open, and the NCAA College World Series returns to ESPN for the 7th straight year. June tees off a month loaded with live golf thrills. There's first and second round U.S. Open drama, the LPGA Mayflower Classic, and the Tournament Players Championship on the Senior PGA Circuit. The PBA summer season is on with high-rolling Wednesday night excitement, plus intense international competition with live World Cup soccer. ESPN's June showcases the champions of tomorrow on Top Rank Boxing's Friday night fights and brings back legendary ring warriors with a classic Super Bout series. There's live auto racing from the Canadian Grand Prix and Karts Milwaukee and Portland 200s. ESPN keeps you fit with Gillard, informed with SportsCenter, and goes ringside for Karate Mania's Battle of Atlanta. A total sports June on ESPN, where the cheering never stops.
The LPGA Championship is one of 4 majors in women's golf. This event brings out the very best in the great players. The legendary Mickey Wright won a record 4 times, and Kathy Whitworth has 3 championships. In 1982, Jan Stevenson made this short putt to seal a 2-shot win over Joanne Carner. From 1981 to 83, Jan would win a major championship each year. She's here this year looking to become the 9th player to win this title at least twice. The LPGA Championship belonged to Patty Sheehan in 83 and 84, coming from 7 shots back on the final day with a string of 5 birdies on the backside to beat Sandra Haney in 1983. 2004, she joined Mickey Wright as the only back-to-back winner of this prestigious event. She shot a course record 63 and a tournament record 16 under 272 in a 10-shot victory. Last year, Nancy Lopez won for the second time. She opened with a 65, and she closed with a 65, hitting shots like this. Lopez won by 8 strokes and missed Sheehan's tournament record by 1. Nancy's not here to defend her title this year. She gave birth to her second child this past week. But the favorite is red-hot Pat Bradley, who became the first player to pass the $2 million mark in earnings and is looking for her first LPGA championship. Mazda presents the Mazda LPGA Series. We're at Kings Island outside of Cincinnati, Ohio for the 32nd LPGA Championship. Today's coverage is being brought to you by Mazda Cars and Trucks. The more you look, the more you like Mazda value. By Michelob Light, super premium taste and a less filling beer. Who says you can't have it all? By Job's Spikes. Job's does the job at the roots. And by Nabisco Brands, a strong supporter of golf and its charitable activities. And we welcome you to Kings Island, some 25 miles north of Cincinnati, for our second round coverage of this, the 32nd LPGA Championship and the second major of the year for the LPGA Tour. Hi, everybody. Along with Bruce Devlin, I'm Roger Twyville. Nancy Lopez, the defending champion, is not here, and there's a very good reason. We congratulate Nancy and her husband, Ray Knight, on the birth of their second daughter. Someone asked last year, Bruce, when Nancy was winning 5 tournaments and over $400,000, how do you stop Nancy Lopez? Say, well, she is pregnant again, and that's what she did. And we congratulate her once again on the birth of her second child. But the person to contend with here this week is the red-hot Pat Bradley. She has, of course, passed the $2 million mark, the first person in LPGA history to do that. She's won twice already this year, and she's on a roll.
Well, I think it's marvelous for the LPGA itself for Bradley to have played so well this year. She had to win over 200,000 as we watch her now. This for her birdie at 18, a little earlier, and you can see comes up a little bit short.
She shot a 5 under 67 during the first round and currently 1 under on today's round.
Right, and she's going to be a force to be reckoned with, Roger, before this golf tournament's over. She's obviously at the top of her game. She won the first major this year, the Nabisco Dinosaur tournament, so she's going to be there Sunday.